limestone fragments from blasts. Several distinct triangular striated prints, like those in Archean slate, proving that source survived from over 600 million years ago to Comanchean times without more than moderate morphological changes and decrease in average size. Comanchean prints apparently more primitive or decadent, if anything, than older ones. Emphasize importance of discovery and press. Will mean to biology what Einstein has meant to mathematics and physics. Joins up with my previous work and amplifies conclusions. Appears to indicate, as I suspected, that Earth has seen whole cycle or cycles of organic life before known one that begins with Archaeozoic cells. Was evolved and specialized not later than 1,000 million years ago, when planet was young and recently uninhabitable for any life forms or normal protoplasmic structure. Question arises when, where, and how development took place. Later. Examining certain skeletal fragments of large land and marine saurians and primitive mammals, find singular local wounds or injuries to bony structure not attributable to any known predatory or carnivorous animal of any period. Of two sorts, straight, penetrant bores and apparently hacking incisions. One or two cases of cleanly severed bone. Not many specimens affected. Am sending to camp for electric torches. Will extend search area underground by hacking away stalactites. Still later. Have found peculiar soapstone fragment about 6 inches across and 1.5 inches thick, wholly unlike any visible local formation. Greenish, but no evidences to place its period. Has curious smoothness and regularity. Shaped like 5-pointed star with tips broken off, and signs of other cleavage at inward angles and in center of surface. Small, smooth depression in center of unbroken surface. Arouses much curiosity as to source and weathering. Probably some freak of water action. Carol with
In a quarter mile, turn left onto US 36 East, Chicago, Kansas City Expressway.
Tiny dots and regular patterns. Dogs growing uneasy as we work, and seem to hate this soapstone. Must see if it has any peculiar odor. We'll report again when Mills gets back with light, and we start on underground area.
Turn left onto US 36 East, Chicago, Kansas City Expressway.
Important discovery. Orendorff and Watkins, working underground at 9:45 with light, found monstrous barrel-shaped fossil of wholly unknown nature. Probably vegetable, unless overgrown specimen of unknown marine radiata. Tissue evidently preserved by mineral salts. Tough as leather, but astonishing flexibility retained in places. Marks of broken off parts at ends and around sides. 6 feet end to end, 3.5 feet central diameter, tapering.
Continue on US 36 East for 143 miles.
Barrel with 5 bulging ridges in place of stage.
Continue on Northwest State Highway D for half a mile.
Stalks are an equator in middle of these ridges. In furrows between ridges are curious growths. Combs or wings that fold up.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Old US 36, State Road West.
Which gives almost 7-foot wingspread. Arrangement reminds one of certain monsters of primal myth, especially fabled elder things in Necronomicon. These wings seem to be membranous, stretched on framework of glandular tubing. Apparent minute
Take the next left onto Old US 36, State Road West.
Body shriveled, giving no clue to interior or to what has been broken off there. Must dissect when we get back to camp. Can't decide whether vegetable or animal. Many features obviously of almost incredible primitiveness. Have said all.
Continue on Old US 36 for 4 miles.
Specimens. Additional scarred bones found, but these must wait. Having trouble with dogs. They can't endure the new specimen and would probably tear it to pieces if we didn't keep it at a distance from them. 11:30 p.m. Attention Dyer, Babodi, Douglas. Matter of highest, I might say transcendent importance. Markham must relay to Kingsport Head Station at once.
I think that's only the third different crop I've seen this whole trip.
That left prints in rocks.
Some kind
Mills,
of red
Boudreaux, and
pseudo
Fowler
grain.
discover cluster of 13 more at underground point 40 feet from aperture. Mixed with curiously rounded and configured soapstone fragments smaller than one previously found. Star-shaped, with no marks of breakage except at some of the Organic specimens 8, apparently perfect with all appendages, have brought all to surface, leading off dogs to distance. They cannot stand the things. Give close attention to description and repeat back for accuracy. Papers must get this right. Objects are 8 feet long all over. 6'5" ridged barrel torso, 3.5 feet central diameter, 1 foot end diameters. Dark gray, flexible and infinitely tough. 7-foot membranous wings of same color, found folded, spread out of furrows between ridges. Wing framework tubular or glandular, of lighter gray, with orifices at wingtips. Spread wings have serrated edge. Around equator, one at central apex of each of the 5 vertical stave-like ridges, are 5 systems of light gray flexible arms or tentacles found tightly folded to torso, but expansible to maximum length of over 3 feet. Like arms of primitive crinoid. Single stalks 3 inches diameter branch after 6 inches into 5 substalks, each of which branches after 8 inches into 5 small tapering tentacles or tendrils, giving each stalk a total of 25 tentacles. At top of torso, blunt bulbous neck of lighter gray, with gill-like suggestions holds yellowish, 5-pointed starfish-shaped apparent head, covered with 3-inch wiry cilia of various prismatic colors. Head thick and puffy, about 2 feet point to point, with 3-inch flexible yellowish tubes projecting from each point. Slit in exact center of top, probably breathing aperture. At end of each tube is spherical expansion, where yellowish membrane rolls back on handling to reveal glassy red-irised glow, evidently an eye. 5 slightly longer reddish tubes start from inner angles of starfish-shaped head and end in sac-like swellings of same color, which upon pressure open to bell-shaped orifices 2 inches maximum diameter and lined with sharp white tooth-like projections, probable mouths. All these tubes, cilia and points of starfish head, found folded tightly down, tubes and points clinging to bulbous neck and torso, flexibility surprising despite vast toughness. At bottom of torso, rough but dissimilarly functioning counterparts of head arrangements exist. Bulbous light gray pseudo-neck, without gill suggestions, holds greenish 5-pointed starfish arrangement. Tough, muscular arms, 4 feet long and tapering from 7 inches diameter at base to about 2.5 at point. To each point is attached small end of a greenish 5-veined membranous triangle, 8 inches long and 6 wide at farther end. This is the paddle, fin or pseudo-foot, which has made prints in rocks from 1,000 million to 50 or 60 million years old. From inner angles of starfish arrangement project 2-foot reddish tubes tapering from 3 inches diameter at base.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto US 36 East, Chicago, Kansas City Expressway.
I don't think so.
But
You stand
extremely
on the
flexible.
old one.
4-foot
There's
arms
no way
with
to tell
paddles
you to
undoubtedly
let me
used
just
for
stay on the
locomotion
old
of
one.
some sort, marine or otherwise. When moved, display suggestions of exaggerated muscularity. As found, all these projections tightly
At the stop sign, turn right onto US 36 East, Chicago, Kansas City Expressway.
Nah, go to
not
hell.
yet assigned positively to animal or vegetable kingdom, but odds now favor animal. Probably represents incredibly advanced evolution of radiata without loss of certain primitive features. Echinoderm resemblance is unmistakable despite local contradictory evidences. Wing structure puzzles in view of probable marine habitat, but may have use in water navigation. Symmetry is curiously vegetable-like, suggesting vegetables essentially up and down structure rather than animals fore and aft structure. Fabulously early date of evolution, preceding even simplest Archean protozoa hitherto known, baffles all conjecture as to origin. Complete specimens have such uncanny resemblance to certain creatures of primal myth that suggestion of ancient existence outside Antarctic becomes inevitable. Dyer and Pavodi have read Necronomicon and seen Clark Ashton Smith's nightmare paintings based on text
Continue on US 36, Business East for half a mile.
supposed to have created all Earth life as jest or mistake. Students have always thought conception formed from morbid imaginative treatment of very
In a
ancient
quarter mile, turn left toward US 36, Business West.
things will mark north is spoken of Thulu cult appendages, etc. Vast field of study opened. Deposits probably of late Cretaceous or early Eocene period.
Take the next left toward US 36 Business West, then turn right onto US 36 Business West.
Moving out. Toughness prevented damage. State of preservation miraculous, evidently owing to
Take the next left toward US 36 Business West, then turn left.
Search later. Job now to get 14 huge specimens to camp without dogs, which bark furiously and can't be trusted near them. With 9 men, 3 left to guard the dogs, we ought to manage the 3 sledges fairly well. The wind is bad. Must establish plane communication with McMurdo Sound and begin shipping material. But I've got to dissect one of these things before we take any rest. Wish I had a real laboratory here. Dyer better kick himself for having tried to stop my westward trip. First the world's greatest mountains, and then this. If this last isn't the high spot of the expedition, I don't know what is. We're made scientifically. Congrats, Pavodi, on the drill that opened up the cave. Now, will Arkham please repeat description? The sensations of Pavodi and myself at receipt of this report were almost beyond description, nor were our companions much behind us in enthusiasm. McTighe, who had hastily translated a few high spots as they came from the droning receiver set, wrote out the entire message from his shorthand version as soon as Lake's operator signed off. All appreciated the epic-making significance of the discovery, and I sent Lake congratulations as soon as the Arkham's operator had repeated back the descriptive parts as requested, and my example was followed by Sherman from his station at the McMurdo Sound supply cache, as well as by Captain Douglas of the Arkham. Later, as head of the expedition, I added some remarks to be relayed through the Arkham to the outside world. Of course, rest was an absurd thought amidst this excitement, and my only wish was to get to Lake's camp as quickly as I could. It disappointed me when he sent word that a rising mountain gale had made early aerial travel impossible. But within an hour and a half, interest again rose to banish disappointment. Lake was sending more messages and told of the completely successful transportation of the 14 great specimens to the camp. It had been
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto US 36 Business East, South Davis Street.
very neatly. Now some of the party were hurriedly building a snow corral at a safe distance from the camp, to which the dogs could be brought for convenience in feeding. The specimens were laid out on the hard snow near the camp.
At the light, turn right onto US 36 Business East, South Davis Street.
No.
This dissection seemed to be a greater task than had been expected, for despite the heat of a gasoline stove in the newly raised laboratory tent, the deceptively flexible tissues of the chosen specimen, a powerful and intact one, lost nothing of their more than 11.
Take the next right onto South Colby Street, then turn right onto East School Street.
Incisions, without violence destructive enough to upset all the structural niceties he was looking for.
Continue for half a mile.
He had, it is true, 7 more perfect specimens, but these were too few to use up recklessly unless the cave might later yield an unlimited supply. Accordingly, he removed the specimen and dragged in one which, though having remnants of the starfish arrangements at both ends, was badly crushed and partly disrupted along one of the great torso furrows. Results, quickly reported over the wireless, were baffling and provocative indeed. Nothing like delicacy or accuracy was possible with instruments hardly able to cut the anomalous tissue, but the little that was achieved left us all awed and bewildered. Existing biology would have to be wholly revised, for this thing was no product of any cell growth science knows about. There had been scarcely any...
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Northeast Spring Hill Road.
Years, the internal organs were wholly intact. The leathery, undeteriorative, and almost indestructible quality was an inherent attribute of the thing's form of organization and pertained to some Paleogean cycle of
Take the next right onto Northeast Spring Hill Road.
speculation. At first, all that Lake found was dry, but as the heated tent produced its thawing effect, organic moisture of pungent and offensive odor was encountered toward the thing's uninjured side. It was not blood, but a thick, dark green fluid, apparently answering the same purpose. By the time Lake reached this stage, all 37 dogs had been brought to the still uncompleted corral near the camp, and even at that distance set up a savage barking in show of restlessness at the acrid, diffusive smell. Far from helping to place the strange entity, this this provisional dissection merely deepened its mystery. All guesses about its external members had been correct, and on the evidence of these one could hardly hesitate to call the thing animal. But internal inspection brought up so many vegetable evidences that Lake was left hopelessly at sea. It had digestion and circulation, and eliminated waste matter through the reddish tubes of its starfish-shaped base. Cursorily, one would say that its respiratory apparatus handled oxygen rather than carbon dioxide, and there were odd evidences of air storage chambers and methods of shifting respiration from the external orifice.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Northeast Sunset Road.
And pores.
I don't think so.
Clearly it was
Let
amphibian.
me just make sure that I'm still headed the direction I want to be headed in. And I am, like I thought. I did go down to 36, though.
Take the next right onto Northeast Sunset Road.
No, that's the expressway. I'm not going to do that.
Continue on County Route 477 for 3/4 of a mile.
Looks like I can mostly keep doing this for a long, long way.
In a quarter mile, slight left to stay on County Route 477. Take the next left to stay on County Route 477.
Dang it. You varmint. What the fuck? It steered me north only to stay on the quote main road when I could have gone straight, and then it's going to make me turn right and go back and turn left back onto the road that I was already on. That's what I get for not following my gut. Well, I don't know. This goes to Nettleton. I don't think there's a big enough thing to have a beer or a restaurant in Nettleton. I'm just going to do this and then ignore Google. Bastards.
As well. Vocal organs seemed present in connection with the main respiratory system, but they presented anomalies beyond immediate solution. Articulate speech, the sense of syllable utterance, seemed barely conceivable, but musical piping notes covering a wide range were highly probable. The muscular system was almost preternaturally developed. The nervous system was so complex and highly developed as to leave Lake aghast. Though excessively primitive and archaic in some respects, the thing had a set of ganglial centers and connectives arguing the very extremes of specialized development.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Northeast State Highway B.
And there were signs of a sensory equipment served in part through the wiry cilia of the head, involving factors alien to any other terrestrial organism.
Take the next right.
Hello? Hello?
How's it going?
Pretty good. I just got routed. I was going how I wanted to
Continue
go.
on Northeast State Highway B for 1 mile.
Got routed to turn slightly off track north when I'm headed due east. And then when I zoomed out, I discovered all that is so I can stay on this bigger road and then turn right and come way back down again to get back on the same road I was just on.
Good grief.
Yeah, just little things like that if I was navigating without Google Maps, it would be not even a thing to mention. It's just annoying that the technology could be there to go where you want to go, but it just isn't.
Yes.
So, anyway,
Yes.
Had another. Was that the route I wanted? Hold on. Hold on.
No problem.
Yeah, sure was. Now I gotta figure out how to turn around here. I guess there's just nowhere to turn around safely. Anyway, what time is it there? I'm in Missouri. I don't know if this is normal time or not.
Turn left onto US 36 East, Chicago, Kansas City
Okay,
Expressway.
so I'm still an hour behind.
Oh, okay. But you're in Missouri. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've been in Missouri for a while. If you
Okay.
end up moving out of Georgia, then this is where I would say you should go and
In a
forget
quarter mile,
Alabama.
turn right onto Northeast Hicks
I
Drive.
remember that we all liked it very much.
Yeah, this is sorghum, corn, and soybean. So it's the first. Well, actually, the sorghum is the third crop that I've seen growing in the whole country since I've been driving.
Really.
So that's pretty amazing that we only grow 2 crops, basically.
Take the next right onto Northeast Hicks Drive.
But they've not harvested any of it yet, huh?
No, it's all dead. There's nothing to harvest.
Oh. What? Gosh.
Well, that's,
Continue on Northeast Hicks Drive for 1 mile.
Yeah.
if you had a few other species, then maybe it wouldn't be such a catastrophe, but they
Yes.
don't.
Yes.
So
I wonder if
I don't know the specifics, but I know that we pay them to grow corn and soy. So if you remove that subsidy, maybe they'd be forced to diversify, and that it's just craziness. But anyway,
well, I wondered about that. Is this was it because subsidies have been deleted because of the leadership is like get water and all that stuff.
to my knowledge, the subsidies are all in place, but because of what's going on, we've completely lost China as a soy buyer, and that was like I forgot how many billions of dollars, or maybe in trillions. Must have been in trillions because they're the number one importer partner for this. So none of our soy is being bought. Is tit for tat for what we did.
Yeah.
So I don't know what'll give first, but the last economic data said that the U.S. has exported 0 soy this year, like literally none. But anyway, maybe I'm grumpy because I'm so sick.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Northeast Nettleton Road.
Did I lose you?
Take the next right onto Northeast Nettleton Road. Continue on Northeast Hicks Drive for 2 miles.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's slowly better. I now have enough reception that I can listen to an audiobook without it cutting off. And every time it cuts off, you have to completely reload it. You can't just pick up where it cut off.
Oh dear.
So, I just did what I could until today, but now I don't know if it loads a minute ahead or 2 minutes or something like that, but I can listen to it completely uninterrupted. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe I'm all